Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one is from the AITA subreddit and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for telling my wife that she should have included my daughter in her mother-daughter trip? I, 44 male, have 2 children, 18 male, 16 female. My ex-wife abandoned the family when my daughter was still a baby. Wowza. I recently married a woman, 42 female, with 3 kids, 17 female, 14 female, and 13 male. Their father is still involved in all their lives. All of our kids are still in high school, though my son is set to graduate soon. They recently had their spring break. During spring break, my wife took her 2 girls to a major city near us for a mommy-daughter day. They ate, went to a spa, etc. Before they went, I suggested to her that she should include my daughter, but she said no, as this was a yearly tradition with just her girls. Hold up, how long have they been together? It says recently married. Okay. While she was gone, I took my kids and her son out for bowling and mini golf. After her trip with her girls was over, the next day she took her son out for a Mother's Sunday, where she took him out to see whatever movie he wanted. She and I have been arguing ever since about how she excluded my daughter from her mommy-daughter day. I think it was cruel. My daughter grew up without a mother, and I know it would have meant a lot to her to be included. But my wife says that she was just carrying on old traditions of spending time with just her girls, then spending time with just her son, and that she'd be happy to start a new tradition with my daughter, but that it needed to be a different thing. That's important. She also said, I didn't bring your son along with my mother-son time with my son. Why aren't you making an issue out of that? I told her that it was different, that my daughter really needed girl time, and that excluding her was hurtful. I still think she should have invited my daughter along, that she should have made a new part of the tradition. Am I the astronaut? Well, she's willing to make a new tradition. He's wanting her to make an alteration to the existing tradition. No, you would never exclude her. But the fact that she offered to create a new tradition with just her? Edit, to be clear, I don't care about people voting that I'm the asshole. That's why I came here, and everyone is entitled to their opinions. I just don't think it's right to downvote me when I answer a question honestly. The fact that she offered a solution does mean something to me here. She says that she would be willing to do that. Here's where I think she screwed up. I do think it would be good for her to do a one-on-one time. That way she doesn't do anything to alter what she has with her current girls. And they may have beef with stepdaughter if they feel like she's encroaching on their time. However, doing that mommy-daughter day with just those 2 before having something set up that was independent and individual with stepdaughter is where she up big, because there's nothing from preventing the stepdaughter here from feeling excluded. It would only be after the fact that she would be pitching something that was with just her. And at that point, it's like a pity outing. That's what it's going to appear to be to her. Now, in potentially in her defense, we don't know that OP's daughter is offended by this. We only know that OP is offended by this on her behalf. There hasn't been a conversation or word from her about how she feels about it. OP has made assumptions about how she would feel. He says, I know she would. And that's fine. However, I feel like there are multiple different things that should happen here. He's getting offended on someone else's behalf without talking to her about how she feels about it. That's a screw up. But OP's wife taking the other girls out without having a prior arrangement with OP or with his daughter lends to feeling excluded too. There were multiple ups here. I think this is really an ESH. The communication breakdown is here. They say this is, OP said they recently got married. This may be a year 1 communication thing, but prior communication with this, like a well laid out plan, a thoughtful plan that takes everyone's feelings into consideration within this blended family would have been ideal. That's not what happened. There's a lot of after the fact bitching going on. Both parties are just reactive now. I think this whole thing could have been handled differently, and I think you both suck for it. Recently married, accidentally overlooked. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to hear how the daughter feels, because ultimately this is about her, and we don't have any idea how she feels. OP's assuming, and we could assume along with OP. And I'm sure if she noticed that they went without her, I'm sure she feels something about that. What level of offense gets taken to it is unknown. And OP's wife should have figured that out ahead of time and pitched an independent thing ahead of time. She up there, and I think probably needs to do a little bit of work to make up for that. Candy Thunder, did they not talk about how to integrate a blended family before marrying? I'm so confused. I don't think most people do, Candy Thunder. Question for you. Here's an unofficial poll as we wrap up here. Those of you in blended relationships or blended families who are now married, did you have a conversation? I guess blended relationship makes work. A blended relationship works because you have to start blending them at some point prior to marriage. Did you talk about it? Yes, always. Yes, yes. Demon Peepers, no. Ellen, we didn't talk about it, but we figured it out. I mean, I think you talk about it as you go, as you figure things out. And maybe this is their first real complication. Included the kids and everything. There was never talk about it. Brittany, I can say for a fact that my mother did not. That's probably where, yeah, you make a good point there. Did they not talk about like how this is going to go and try to communicate frequently about that? This is probably a year one communication problem where they're discovering that there are problems that they need to solve for the relationship to endure and to do so healthily for their entire family. They got to learn how to problem solve right now. And it's a walk through the fire year one thing. This is one of them. And it'd be great if you had that communication ahead of time, but it takes a lot of foresight that a lot of people don't have. Most people don't have. So you have to hit the problem first to come up with a solution. And that's not uncommon, I guess. Candy Thunderbolt, once you get married, traditions change. I would extend the invite to SD and let her decide. That would have been smart. I mean, that probably would have been the most ideal solution there. At minimum, having a conversation about including her somehow, whether it be with that or independent, and giving her the choice, like you said, is the smartest thing she could have done. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. But giving them the choice ahead of time is always the way to go. Always. Always.